I wouldn't put a brand new table into any major televised event because, you know, you need something that's tried and tested. So these two tables are what I selected during the season because it's like a big jigsaw puzzle, really, the underframe. Everything's numbered up. A certain leg will go to a certain rail. You know, it's all numbered.
This is what they call a slate support bracket. Basically because it screws up and down here, when you put these cross members in, or muntins is the official name, there's a metal plate on the bottom that goes into that, and that allows you to bring the level of the centre of the table up so the slates don't go like this, so you've got adjustment for the level up and down.
There's been heaters on snooker tables since the sort of 18th century, like a central heating pipe. In the 80s and 90s we used to use greenhouse heaters, which are like tubes, but they're very inefficient, but they just heat where above the slate where the tube was, whereas these pad heaters now heat the slate evenly and we can control the temperature very accurately.
Bit more on my end. Just come over a bit more. We've roughly positioned the tables underneath the centre of the lights, but for television cameras it has to be spot on, you know, any sort of offline and I'll never get it level on the telly, so our colleagues here are running lasering from a set point, which will give us the centre of the tables that way, because also when the wall goes up, the two tables need to be level, because, you know, there will be shots when they go across, so they have to be parallel.
Plus the theatre is so small, we've only got, well, in old money, 5'4" from the table to the wall, and the average queue's 4'10", so you've only got 6 inches of leeway, you know, so if you're 2 inches out, you'll be 8 inches one side and 4 inches the other, you know, so you've got to be very careful. And then you're playing the top surface of the main rails to make sure they're perfectly flat, and then the slate will go on. On these tournament tables, they're very heavy. They're 50mm thick, which is a lot thicker than normal snooker tables. They weigh roughly just under 200 kilos each. I think it's 990 kilos per table, that slate. But you need the slate, you need the weight to keep the level. You don't have the weight, you won't get the stability.
And, you know, the levels we use, these engineering levels, which are really accurate. At the moment, you can see that we just started 11, but this is actually perfect at the moment. It's between the two major red lines. Then just to show you how accurate they are, you know, you put, say, a £10 note underneath the one end. And then you can see that thickness of that paper has moved that just over a degree, which, you know, for us isn't acceptable because the cloths are so thin these days that you virtually have no tolerance.
When it's perfectly level, every joint, you won't even notice the joint, because then you fill the gaps in with filler and then clean it all off, and then it just looks like one piece.
And now we're just about to put the roller cloth on. This is a roller cloth that's used for the whole event, so the practice tables are covered in this. When we do recovers, it's covered in this, so it's one roller cloth that do the whole event.
It's very difficult to fit, you know, and there's certain processes you have to do because it's like trying to fit a piece of cardboard, basically. It's got no pliability to it. It is all down to experience, feel and knowledge. I can feel the tension under my hands, you know, when to time to stop and all that lot, because you can rip it, you know, and then you have to start again. You don't want that, really. The cloth's tacked on nice and tight, then brush it, iron it. Then what we call the stills will go on. That's the outside, the first part of the cushion.
So each pocket's dependent by 2 templates. We've got 2 corner templates and 2 middle templates, and basically this bigger one is what is known as the top cut. So the top cut goes in, it should be firm to go in with some resistance but not compressing the rubber. So that's fairly tight. But the important template is this one, which controls the slate fall and the amount of undercut on the rubber. Because obviously the more rubber you take off from underneath here, because the ball's cylindrical, it makes the pocket easier. So these now, I mean these tables now, the pocket openings haven't altered since 1990. You know, so what's that? 1990 to 27 years, isn't it? 27 years, yeah. So 27 years, they're not altered 27 years.
Then the outside, what we call the freeze, will go on, which is where the pockets are connected. Basically, then the table looks finished apart from the marking out. Nobody likes doing it because what you use is like a Tipex pen, and basically you only get one chance, so you can't make a mistake, because once the cloth marked, and you cannot get it out. Because we have instances where, you know, people have had accidents and we've had to start again. Still very proud of what we do. I still think that to get butterflies with, you know, when the World Championship starts, so you think, oh, they're doing so right, and you haven't missed anything.
Well, I suppose if you want to get up